Well, hi folks, and welcome to a new Templates for Change presentation series on sensory arts and sciences. It's all about our own abilities, our own sensory abilities to register, feel and explore the world we live in and the different places we go to. And this is part one. This is about exploring the world's special places. And we're beginning with the introduction, which is to the hidden story. And so let's get going. Well, I'm John Edge, and that's my mugshot down there, and I'm the presenter on this series. And this is the introduction, Discovering the Hidden Story. Now, there are so many fascinating places in our world, aren't there? There may be castles or temples or just houses, and all kinds of different ancient sites from all different areas and times of history. And they can be just around the corner or across the other side of the planet. And all of these have these wonderful hidden stories for us to explore, don't they? And the question is, how best are we going to do this? How best are we going to discover those kinds of things that we can't simply find in the guidebooks? We need to explore in different ways. Now, this series is designed to show you how. And there are photographs in it from all over the world, so I hope that whichever continent you come from, there's going to be a photograph that you'll recognize of somewhere you might have seen. And these have all been photographed by myself in my various travels. I've been very lucky to see so many of these amazing places around the world. And we're going to start with the hidden story, which is to do with the place and location and what was going on there, and exploring more of the character and nature of the place. And then in the second part, we're going to concentrate on the human story, and that's going to be all about the people who lived there. Who were they? What were they like? What were their lives like? Okay, so let's move on and investigate. Now, we all know, don't we, that we can often sense more in our lives and in the places we're at than we can sort of see physically. Register with our 5 physical senses. We might call it instinct or imagination or intuition, but it's bringing to us feelings and registrations and senses that sort of defy physical explanation. Now, for example, here is a beautiful stone row at Kilmartin in Scotland, and there it is physically, just some stones in the ground. But when we go there, quite often what we'll start to think about is, who are the people that put them there? Why did they do it? What were their lives like? And perhaps ideas and senses come to us. And then we may think about why they were built. Was it something to do with the energy of the stones or the energy of the place? People talk about these things. And how can this be? What is going on there? And the question arises, doesn't it? How can we develop our human sensing capabilities in really good practical ways to start to uncover these human stories more successfully? In addition to that, we get special kinds of feelings, don't we, about the atmospheres. People talk about atmospheres that they experience when they go somewhere. And these atmospheres come from things that may have happened in the past. Quite often they do. Now, of course, a lot of the time they're often positive, aren't they? They're sensing a pleasant or spiritual feeling in a house or in a temple or somewhere special, and we feel very good about it. But of course, on other occasions it can be rather negative, perhaps an unpleasant sensation, or a shiver down the spine as you step into a room or passageway. You think, oh, what went on here? This doesn't feel right. This feels a bit strange. Now, where would that come from? How can you explore that more? So let's have a look at that. How can we kind of cross-check these kinds of feelings? And here kind of is a wonderful little altar in the Ku Kongsi in Penang in Malaysia, a fantastic Taoist clan house and temple. Wonderful place to visit, one of the most beautiful clan houses in the world. And of course, we can start picking up on the lives of people that lived there, can't we? We often talk about the people who lived there creating a kind of imprint, as if their history kind of saturated the building. People talk about it almost being imprinted into the walls, and that later visitors, being people just like them, can pick it up. I mean, maybe you yourself remember visiting a place and finding that the decorations, the surroundings, and the whole design, the whole way of the building suddenly started to bring to life the lives of the people who lived there. And here's a wonderful picture of the Iolani Palace in Honolulu, beautiful place. Now, what were the people like who lived there? Not just the famous people, but the servants too. So part one, we're going to talk about developing our sensing toolkit. And this is going to be the first part of our exploration, because we're going to be looking at a way of how we can develop a particular kind of system, a toolkit for sensing that's going to help us explore any place that we're going to be visiting. And this is going to start by looking to see how first we might actually need to shrink our expectations of what we're going to do there, which may already have got too big. And then we may need to wait while we tune our sensing into the place, and then kind of alert ourselves to the history, the possibilities, what might have gone on there, ask the right kind of questions, before we then start to connect our sensing to the building, to the history, to the people, and then maybe start to translate the hidden meanings, the ideas we get, the feelings we get, the senses we get of what was going on there. Maybe even somewhere like the Duomo in Florence, in Italy, a beautiful building, beautiful building. Then we're going to try and look at more advanced sensing, and in this part we're going to be looking at the human story, and this is going to be building on the toolkit we've developed, but trying to go deeper into our human sensing equipment, ability, and acumen, you might say. And this includes searching out the places that we visit where human activity was most concentrated, because that's where it's easier to connect to the human story. And then start to see how we can very effectively begin to connect to it, that human activity, and to the lives, extraordinary lives often, the simple lives, the different lives of those people who once lived there. And here's an extraordinary little picture of the Tetrarchs at San Marco in Venice, just in a corner of one of the walls. Now these two sensing workshops hopefully will help us become what you might say are history and human detectives, to help us connect to and translate and understand many aspects of all those extraordinary special places that we are able to visit, to detect the hidden events and the human stories that have happened there. And here's a photograph of a wonderful place in Ireland, Clonmacnoise, that has an extraordinary history going back to the 10th century and before. And that's a picture of one of the chapels and the graves and an old stone tower. And there are many extraordinary events that have happened there, of a religious nature, of a secular nature. Many people from history have been there. And it's fascinating to go there to see what kind of things we can pick up ourselves directly from the place. And this is what these two workshops, this is the kind of things this will hopefully help us to do. And I hope that this will open up for you a fascinating journey that opens up all kinds of new discoveries and helps us, you might say, become real living explorers of the past, the present, and also the future. So, thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed this introduction. Here's a picture of Mount Kinabalu in Malaysian Borneo, a beautiful 10,000 foot mountain in the tropics there. And if you'd like to explore more TFC presentations, there's www.templatesforchange.org, and I'll be continuing on the next part of this series. Bye now.